What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 15, which aired last Sunday night. So we are still at the dinner where Sheree and Kenya were confronting Sanya about not, I don't know what they expect her to do, because the woman said, hey, if you want to come to the iFit video shoot, you can come. If you don't, you don't have to. It's all up to you. Marlo found a way to get there. Sheree and Kenya, I'm not exactly sure what they were waiting for. I don't know if they were waiting for Sonya to show up and, carry them on her back to take them to the iFit video shoot. I don't know exactly what they were expecting from Sanya, because Sanya was working. She was busy. She's got to do her thing. She doesn't have time to call y'all. She doesn't have time to, send Ubers out to pick y'all up. She's there for this. The whole purpose of the trip is for her to do the iFit video shoot. This is her job. This is what she's getting paid to do. So she didn't have time to coddle Sheree and Kenya and, stress out about how they were going to get there. She's worried about herself getting there. So they're still going on and about that, and that's when Ross got upset and told them to leave his wife the F alone. Sanya and her husband step away from the table to get a breather, and Sanya was telling her husband that she understood Kenya being the way she is, but she was surprised about Sheree siding with Kenya and Sheree, making a big deal about the whole iFit video shoot. So Marlo in her confessional says that she doesn't understand why Kenya is going on and on and on about the iFit thing. Marlo attributes Kenya's behavior to maybe Kenya was just frustrated because her boo thing John that she met when she arrived on the island ended up ditching her on day one. He was like poof, be gone, disappeared, evaporated into thin air, and he had no more interest and no more time for Kenya. So moving on to day 4. Drew is still on the sick and shut-in list. Sheree is on the phone with her fashion coordinator, whoever this woman is to her, trying to get everything together for her fashion show. She says that she's running into a lot of issues with this fashion show. I really hope that it does work out, because in Sheree's mind, she's putting a lot into this fashion show, because she feels as if everyone's waiting with bated breath to see how Sheree's fashion show is going to go, because her last one, however many years ago it was such a bust. I don't think anybody really cares by now. Yes, people still poke fun at her about it and whatnot, but it's like, girl, whatever you do, we'll be fine. We'll support you either way. Whatever, if you got one outfit that comes down the runway or 20 outfits that come down the runway, the fact that you're still talking about this, the fact that you're still trying to push this and you're still working on it, we're going to give you A for effort either way. So while Sanya is, and then Sheree did make it a point to go support Sanya for her iFit video shoot, but when she got there, she missed the whole damn thing. But she was still there to show support. Sanya still appreciated. While Sanya was gone doing her iFit video shoot, she had put Marlo in charge of the girls, and so nobody was really feeling Marlo, but she did the best she could. So they all get together for lunch, and Sheree talks about how she went to the iFit video shoot to support Sanya, but she failed to mention to the group that she had missed the entire video shoot, but she made it seem like she was there from the very beginning. Marlo tells Sheree and Manetta that she still feels very salty about Candy when Candy talked about how Candy called her out for displacing her nephews or sending her nephews to go live with her sister. And I don't think that Marlo thinks that she's mad at Candy, but I think Marlo is really mad at herself. I think Marlo is having second thoughts about what she did, sending her nephews to go live with her sister for 30 days or whatever. I think that she really has the frustration. I think her frustration comes from herself, but she's going to take it out on Candy, because it's just easier to blame somebody else than to blame yourself. And for her to still be upset about it lets me know that she does carry a lot of guilt about what she did, because for Marlo to be like, Kenya should not have been talking about my nephews, she's like talking about my nephews in front of these people that I don't know. But why would you talk about something so personal when you brought up Ralph adopting or not adopting Josiah? Why would you bring that? That is not dinner conversation among friends. Turn targeting your friend and questioning or interrogating your friend and her husband as far as why her husband won't adopt her child. That's not dinner conversation. That's not something that you bring up. You're talking about it. You're still talking about a child. You know, you brought up the boy's name. You brought up the issue with the adoption. What is the difference between that and Candy bringing up your nephews? I don't understand what the difference is. You had no business doing that. You just got upset that Candy was fighting fire with fire because you're used to people either cowering in your presence, or they start attacking you, like personally attacking you, like the way Kenya does when you and her go at it. You were not expecting you were not expecting Candy to pull out your nephews and her bag of tricks. You were not expecting that. So you didn't know how to respond to it because, I don't think it was her hitting below the belt. I think that Candy was hitting a very raw nerve and you just didn't know how to react. Anyways, moving on from there. So they all go rafting. Poor Todd, he thought it was going to be whitewater rafting, where you're actually like on the canoe and you're like fighting against these crashing waves on the river. That's what he thought it was going to be. But it wasn't that at all. It was the complete opposite. Someone said, I think it was Kenya, she said it was some Golden Girls rafting because it was just a very peaceful, serene little trip down the river on very comfortable rafts. It was like a very nice, relaxing type of activity. Now, Todd, let me ask you this. If you really thought this was like the real deal whitewater rafting where you're crashing against waves, why would you bring your Louis Vuitton backpack? Because Candy and Todd had their Louis Vuitton backpacks on the rafts. And I'm like, why would you bring those when you're going to be out in the middle of the water? Like, what if something happens and your bag drops in the river? I mean, that's real leather, right? Like, why would you bring that stuff if you thought that you're really going to go whitewater rafting? So Kenya tells Sheree that because Kenya and Sheree, they were on the same raft, she tells her that she felt scared when Ross got up and told her and Sheree to leave his wife the F alone. And, Sheree tried to play it down. She was trying to sort of like defend Ross for doing what he did, saying that that's her husband and he has the right to get up and, defend his wife. But Kenya took it. I didn't think that. You see, that's what I don't understand. This whole mentality of these women thinking that, I don't know, I'll get to that later. But I felt like Kenya was putting 20 on 10. He was not necessarily like, I don't feel like Ross was attacking her and Sheree or cussing out her and Sheree. Yes, he did use the F word. He did say, leave my wife the F alone. Yes, he did do that. But y'all want to cross that line with Sanya and just go in on her, accusing her of doing something she didn't do. She was not disinviting you. When y'all were approaching the dinner, she said, I was not disinviting you. The day before, she said, you can come if you want. There was nothing in the itinerary that said that she was going to babysit y'all and hold your hands and lead you to the video shoot. So for you to constantly, they were basically just constantly accusing her of, you were disinviting us. We felt disinvited. Why would you disinvite us? And then he got sick of it because his wife was doing she was doing what she could to defend herself against these two women. And y'all just would not shut the hell up about it. Y'all didn't go. She doesn't care that y'all weren't there. I mean, were y'all more butthurt about the fact that Marlo went and y'all didn't? And you feel like it made y'all look bad when nobody really cared? And even Candy said, y'all had a great time on the damn yacht. Y'all were living it up on the yacht. So why do y'all care so much about whether or not y'all showed up at the iFit video? If you really wanted to be there, you would have called her and said, hey, we're trying to get to your iFit video shoot. What do we need to do to get there? But y'all didn't do any of that. So the husband got upset. Ross got upset because y'all would not leave his wife alone about it. And he had to shut it down. Like I said, Sheree was basically like trying to diffuse the situation and tell Kenya, look, I don't think he was really like attacking us or coming after us. But, Kenya says that she felt threatened and she felt scared. But maybe Kenya never had a man stand up for her like the way Ross stood up for Sanya. And so she really doesn't know what to do with that. So on the other side, moving on, Manetta tries to convince Candy to have a conversation with Marlo. So Candy's like, no, I'm not having it. And the reason why Manetta is doing this is because Manetta talked to Marlo about the whole situation with Candy. And, when Marlo had told Manetta and Sheree that she shouldn't have brought up my nephews and blah, 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 blah. So Manetta felt something in her heart for Marlo, I guess. I don't know. So she goes and she tells Candy, can you please have a conversation with Marlo? And Candy was like, hell no. Because Candy knows. Candy has been, Manetta, look, we love the fact that you're on this show. We truly do appreciate it. You know, you're bringing a fresh face to the show. And I like you, Manetta. I really do like you. But these women, they know each other. They understand each other. They've been working together for many years. So Candy knows Marlo's MO. If Candy felt the need that it was important for her to have a conversation with Marlo, she would. But she knows that with these group of girls, it's up and down, on and off. You kiss, you make up, you argue. You kiss, you make up, you argue. At some point in the near future, Marlo and Candy will be making up. Then they'll have another falling out. Then they'll be making up again. That's just how it is. So Manetta, don't worry your pretty little head about Marlo and Candy. They're just fine. Moving on to dinner. So Candy and Marlo, they have on the same top. Everybody comes out in blue, green, and gold, I think. No, excuse me. Black, green, and gold, which are the colors of the Jamaican flag. And Marlo and Candy, they each have on the same exact top, but different colors. I think Candy's was green and Marlo's was black, I think. So Sanya wants everyone to say what was the highlight of their trip. So they go around the table saying that. Marlo and Candy, they finally have their discussion. They finally have their conversation. Candy felt like that she needed to stand up for Ralph because Ralph couldn't, it wouldn't look right if Ralph, I don't know why it would not have looked right because Marlo, and I'm going back to that previous dinner when Marlo brought up the whole adoption thing, and I felt like Drew and Ralph did a good job in explaining why he decided not to adopt Josiah because he had a conversation with Josiah's father. Josiah's father wasn't feeling it. And I think that they explained that to Marlo at that dinner. And Marlo just kept on going. And I guess Drew wasn't going to say any more about it because Drew is upset or sad or whatever that Ralph decided not to adopt Josiah. So she wasn't going to defend him anymore. So that's when Candy stepped in and was like, but why are you on their case when you got your own stuff going on with your nephews? So Candy felt like she had to stand up for Ralph because it wouldn't look good if Ralph stood up for himself against Marlo because he's a man and she's a woman. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. If a woman's going to bring it, you better be ready to take it if a man brings it back to you. If you're going to go and attack this man for him doing or not doing what you think he should or should not do, that man has every right to stand up and defend himself against you. I don't care what it looks like to the group. Marlo was passing judgment and being overly critical on a private matter that had nothing to do with her. So if Ralph wanted to go toe to toe with Marlo, and I'm not talking about cussing her out, I'm not talking about him attacking her. I'm just saying if he wanted to put her in her place and say, look, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Shut your mouth. Don't talk about my stepson or don't talk about my son. We're handling our business in our way. This don't got nothing to do with you. You worry about your own damn nephews. If he would have said that, I myself would have seen nothing wrong with that. But with these group of women, oh, heaven forbid a man should stand up for himself when a woman is constantly attacking him. So anyway, so that's why Candy says why she did what she did. She had to stand up for Ralph because Ralph, would have been inappropriate for Ralph to stand up for himself. So Candy apologizes. She says, look, if it was wrong for me to bring it up in front of people, bring it up at the dinner table in front of people that you didn't know, fine. I apologize for that. But she said that she was speaking facts. She said, what I said about your nephews and whatever, I was speaking facts. You attacking my husband was not facts. You were not speaking facts. And so Todd says, the next time, leave me the F out of it. Y'all can argue amongst yourselves, but leave me the F out of it. So then Marlo says, oh, so now you're cursing at me because I don't have a man next to me. Y'all, my blood was boiling when she said that. My blood was boiling when she said that. Marlo, you can get it too, whether you got a man next to you or not. If you want to go after Todd or any other man, if you want to go after them, you want to attack them like the way you did to Todd at that previous dinner, and he wants to come right back at you, whether you got a man next to you or not, he has every right to do that. Because why are you bringing him up? You and Candy are having a discussion about your damn nephews. Why you got to drag her mother and her husband into y'all's discussion? And saying things that he said that who knows if he said them or not 15, 55, however many years ago it was when they went to Africa, and you claim he called her a country bumpkin or whatever the hell you said. Who knows if that's true or not? If he wanted to stand up and put you in your place, he had every right to do that, because you had no right to bring that man into your conversation with Candy. But you want to hit below the belt, and you know that with Candy, her mother, her kids, and her husband are the most important things to her. And so that's what you wanted to go, that's what you wanted to attack. And so for you to be like, oh, you're cursing at me because I don't have a man. Why do you need a man next to you? Marlo, you have the confidence, the backbone of about 50 men. Why are you all of a sudden now a shrinking violet, a damsel in distress? Because because I don't have a man next to me, you're going to cuss me out? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Marlo? This whole idea of a man can't speak, and Dr. Heavenly has this really bad on Married to Medicine, that a man cannot speak to a woman unless there's a man, her husband is next to her or her boyfriend is next to her. What the hell? This is so backwards. This is so archaic. I just don't understand. I mean, I just don't understand. So you can cuss out a woman who doesn't have her husband next to her, but a man can't say, leave my name the F out of it, because you don't have a man next to you, because you need a man next to you to stand up for you, to talk for you, to speak for you. So you're saying that if you had a man next to you, then it would be time for you to shut up, and then your man would have to step in and speak for you, because you can't speak for yourself when a man has addressed you. This is some 1800s nonsense. So anyways, let's move on. Marlo says, well, she tells Candy, if you don't bring up my nephews, then I won't disrespect your husband. So all the men get up and leave. So when the men leave, all of a sudden, Sanya directs her attention to Kenya, who was sitting at the very end of the table, minding her own business. So then Sanya looks at Kenya and says, well, do you have anything to say? About what, Sanya? Kenya's over there minding her own business, keeping her mouth shut for once. And now you want to poke the bear. Okay, you poked the bear. The bear's poked. She's awake now. So Kenya's like, what are you talking about? And so Sanya says, well, the whole time that every time that I address you, you're on your phone, you're disengaging, you're very dismissive of me. And Kenya was like, I'm not even on my phone. My phone is in my bag. So then Sanya makes these generalities, right? You know, whenever I try to talk to you, you're dismissive. Whenever I try to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. And Kenya's like, no. We're not doing that. We're not going to speak in generalities. You're going to tell me specifically, exactly when did you try to talk to me and I was dismissive of you? I need a specific date, time, and place. And so Kenya tried to bring up one example, and I don't think that she was very dismissive in that example. And then she tried to bring up another example, and she couldn't conjure up any more examples in her head. She couldn't bring up any other examples. And so she couldn't give any specifics. And she literally was like, well, I just can't think of anything right now. You poked the bear. The bear's awake. Now handle it, Sanya. Handle it. So she said she can't remember anything else. And that's where basically that scene ends. Like, Sanya, I know you want to act like, I don't know who's putting this battery in your back. And I know you want to be like, you want to be big and bad. You want to be able to take down Kenya, because she's like the big villain of the group. And, it failed, Sanya. It failed so miserably. You didn't have your facts together. If you needed to write notes, if you knew that you were going to be confronting Kenya that particular evening, you should have listed out, get a pen and paper and list out your facts. Because if you're going to go after Kenya, you're going to have facts. Like she said, she doesn't live in the world of abstract. You need to give her concrete, specific proof, and live and living color proof. But you didn't do that. You failed miserably. You landed on your face. You looked a mess, and she devoured you. Kenya and Marlo ended up making up at the airport because Marlo offered Kenya some KFC chicken. And that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't worry about it. Thank you for stopping by anyway. And I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.